Welcome to Monday, December 5th. It's coming into winter soon, and that means hockey's in full swing. You know it. It was a big day yesterday. Take a look at the big winners. Matchy, matchy, patchy, ready on Montreal, throwing down a big multi-goal game. I don't think I highlighted him in the video yesterday. However, I did pick him up. I ended up putting together like 4 rosters for the 3 o'clock games on Sunday, and 3 of them cashed and 1 of them didn't. But I use this philosophy of really looking at people at the top of the list and taking a mixed concoction of different teams and all kinds of stuff, not trying to predict game flow because my predictions of game flow have not been accurate at all. So I may as well just go with players. And even though you think that the team's not going to score some goals or they're going to score goals, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just go with the guys who, when things go well, they do score because that seems to work better. So, yeah, those guys had some big nights yesterday. Let's take a look. I've done a lot of enhancements to the file over the weekend and this morning. And what I did was I added a team sheet. I've got a link, or I've got areas where Daily Faceoff, the lines from Daily Faceoff are coming in here. I'm going to talk to those guys because they run a fantastic site, and I'd love to plug the heck out of them. So I set up this team sheet, and this is trying to analyze game flow because my predictions of game flow have been just the opposite of what has happened lately. So let's try to analyze what the heck's going on. So what you're seeing here is the team and how many goals they scored, how many days ago they scored those goals, and how many shots on goal they had, the same number of days ago as it layers to the right there. So I've got the 8 teams that are playing tonight on Monday night on here. Pittsburgh is the team, according to this, with the strongest offense that's putting up the most goals. I don't know about the most shots, but they're putting up the most goals. So you want to load up on Pittsburgh, right? Right? Unless we live in opposite world, you want to load up on Pittsburgh. So I assume we want to load up on Pittsburgh tonight because they got the best chance of putting up the most goals. We're not really looking at opponents so much, but we can kind of open this up, and I end up doing some more analysis on the opponent a little later in the video as we go team by team. But we're just kind of seeing who scored. Columbus is like the second most probable to put up some goals, seems like. I end up changing the sort on here. It looks better later. But, Florida has not been putting up the offense 2 goals a game. 1 or 2 goals a game. Got shut out in Ottawa. Ottawa's actually been playing pretty well defensively, speaking of Ottawa. So they haven't been putting up more than 2 except for those 2 games, 4 and 3 against Buffalo and Boston. How are they going to do today? I still like the Hoffman Stone. You want to probably grab Bessard too. Turris has been playing well, but you'll see later. And then, there's your goals for Pittsburgh. And then Washington, I'm a native of the D.C. area, and unfortunately, I can't really root for my team lately because they're okay, but there you go. What, a 1 4-goal game out of the last 5, 1 3-goal game. A lot of 1s and 2s. They haven't looked good the last week or so. Buffalo, since Eichel's come back, except for that last game, they put up some goals. So, all right. So what are we going to do today? Who are we going to pick? I'm going to grab, I've already created I think 10 rosters. I haven't filled them out yet, but I have 10 entries. I'm going to do 10. I like doing multiples because this way when you watch the games at night, then every single goal in every single game probably has an impact on something. It's really a fun way to do this, and I think it's the right way, rather than saying, hey, I knew I wanted to take this guy, but I didn't have room or whatever, and I don't get him on any roster. I hate that. I hate when Tarasenko goes off and has a hat trick, and I know I should have him somewhere. So I'm highlighting everybody that I am going to grab, I believe, and then I'll probably grab some other people once salary concerns come into the flow at the end of the entry or whatever. But these are the people that I want to grab that I think can have big nights, that the matchup is reasonable for them to potentially have a big night, and the numbers are backing up. What I like to look at is the last 15 days or so to see who's hot, and sometimes I'll zoom out and look at what I have about, I think I have from the beginning of November in here, so I've got over a month now of stats, and I've got block shots for December. I don't have a lot of block shots in November in there, but I've got block shots for December. So I've got I believe I have the correct DraftKings point totals in here. Now, I had a question about that in the video. We should start double checking that, but every time I run a check on it, it's been matching lately. especially for December only. So because I have block shots in there. So I zoom back out to the team thing because I'm looking at like Florida. I'm saying I'm using that opponent slicer, and I'm saying, hey, if the opponent was Florida, how did other teams do, and how many goals did they score? And there you go. You see that Toronto put up like 6 on them 2.5 weeks ago, maybe. And other than that, you see where the goal distribution is. So this is trying to simulate some type of game flow about how many goals the team might give up. Now, you need to add some stuff in there for goalies. You know what this file doesn't have anything of, and I suck at, is goaltenders. I used to be good at picking winners, but lately it has cost me places and money late at night when I have Bernier. I had Bernier last night when he gave up like 8 freaking goals. I don't know when he got pulled. I turned off the game and I gave up because the Draisaitl McDavid line, Draisaitl, McDavid, Lucic on Edmonton did essentially nothing. And I loaded up. I was so happy. I had that line everywhere because I was like, this is going to blow up against Minnesota. Nope, that shit the bed. And then I had Bernier because like Anaheim's been playing. They gave up like a baker's dozen of goals, half a baker's dozen. I don't know what happened. Calgary just exploded. There's something I saw in that Calgary explosion last night that made me think that that I could have had this if I had played it this way, which is there was the Chason Bennett line, which got moved around because Goudreau came back. I wasn't up to date. One thing that this file needs to be is up to date a little bit more. Because if I'd known Johnny G was coming back last night and the lines were getting switched around, but I wasn't because I wasn't paying attention, I didn't do my daily lines thing yet, which is now on the file, by the way. So this is all right in today's file. I would have messed around and done something with Calgary. Instead, they blow up, essentially, and put in hat tricks at a time, shoveling hat tricks into the net at home against Anaheim. It's insane. All right, so today, so what do you do? Yeah, I'm highlighting a ton of people. Like, there's a lot of yellow here. I didn't do a full count on how many people I highlighted this, but it's definitely over 20. And it's probably even around 30 guys. Now, I'm doing 10 rosters, so you can get 30 guys on 10 rosters. So these are the guys I want. What am I looking at? I'm looking at Washington, I think, right? Washington has been given up 4-3-3-3. I think Buffalo's going to put up goals on them, right? I'm highlighting Washington right now. Yep. Even though Buffalo only put up 1 last time, I think that was before Eichel came back. Watch out now. This game is where? Where's this game? This game is... I always have trouble seeing the screen when I'm doing this. They're all 7 o'clock games, too, so this is just going to be bang, bang, and over by 10. Yeah, you got to have people all over the place, and then you just root for goals. I don't think Boston's going to have a great game. They haven't been playing all that well, but it seems like you want to grab Krejci and you want to grab Pasternak. Pittsburgh is really where you want. So what if Pittsburgh doesn't do any? That's why you got to cover yourself in case somehow Pittsburgh doesn't score goals tonight. You want to, who else? Because I want to, at least a few entries are going to be loaded up with Pittsburgh in my view. And then Columbus against Arizona, you have a funny thing going on in Arizona where the goalie took 60 shots, made like 58 saves against Columbus, and he lost in the shootout. And it kind of reminded me of, this happens sometimes when you're playing pickup and you're a kid, and a couple teams get weighted or something really in one direction, and the play is entirely in one team's end, and they're just teeing off, and the goalie's playing out of his mind and stopping everything because, the defensive team, in this case Arizona, is just sitting back and is just not good enough to stop the cycle and stop what's going on and not whatever. Like, they don't have enough of a team, I guess. I don't know why. Poor Arizona. Because I like them. I end up watching them a lot because they're so weighted. They're the worst team in the league. So when you're doing fantasy, you want to take the guys that are playing against Arizona because they're going to get a lot of opportunities to score. So you end up watching Arizona a lot. It's kind of funny. What fantasy is doing to the viewing of hockey, I love this. Every night, it's sad. Every night now, so except for a few days, I am from 7:30 to 1 a.m. just flipping around, watching every single hockey game and watching every single goal, and it's pretty cool. I have to admit, it's pretty cool. Even if you only have like $4 on the line, it's still awesome. I can't explain it. I don't know why that is. I always laugh about it because when you bet $20 or when you bet $100, I've never bet more than $100 on anything in fantasy. But you have potentials of winnings of large payouts on small wagers, right? So when I'm saying I'm entering a lot of entries into a tournament, I'm doing this small time $4 entries or whatever. I'm only putting $50 into the thing, or some, maybe 100, and 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 then you have an entire night of every goal is impactful, and you're going to cash on something if you do this. I guarantee you, if you did the minimum number of entries, that's an interesting thing to do. Maybe we'll do this. The minimum number of entries that include all of those guys. If you, and I'll do the count on that, but let's say it's 40 guys, all right, or 30, like 30, something times 4. Yeah, 40. Yeah, sure, 40 guys. So you need, if assuming the positions were set up right, you would need at minimum 5 entries to get them all on, because you have 8 guys plus a goalie, and we will add goalies into this file to make this thing work better. Columbus has been given up today. See, I think Arizona will get a couple goals tonight because of the stuff I just said about Arizona. It's going through some stuff right now, and the goalie's going nuts, and they're going to do something. They're going to be a little lit with what's going on. So I kind of like picking up like Verbata and yeah, they have one good guy, number 8. He's cheaper too. I think I highlighted him somewhere. He's going to be one of the lower people in yellow when we scroll down. Tobias, I think, Ryder. Yeah, you want to get Ryder. So if you did minimum, you'd need 5 entries. I don't like giving out guarantees, but you're supposed to catch cash in like the top 10 or 20% anyway. So odds are you should cash with one of them. I think that if you just do the highlighted guys based on the stats and everything going in here, that you will do better than that on average. You'll cash with probably on average on 10. I bet you cash with like 2 to 3 on average. And here's the other thing. Well, there isn't much time. Anyway, good luck tonight, but grab the highlighted guys. Ken Stucks out.